Hello, Capricorn. Welcome. Welcome to Gemini season. Let's see what comes out for you. Beautiful. Card of Libra, which is actually really great because you've got Mars in the 7th house there, right? Gonna have the eclipses coming up. She's so calm, so cool, so collected, on point, right? Direct, honest. I see her in a state of analysis, right? Looking at stuff, weighing evidence, weighing options, which is the best case for the path to take, which way to go, which decision to make. Honestly, I think that you are beckoning the true answer, right? The right thing to do. You're beckoning that stuff to you at this particular moment in time. Okay, and you're just like asking the universe for knowing what you need to do when you need to do it. But sitting firm, still, cool. No hot temper, no drama, relaxed. What did I just say? Waiting for the knowing to come to you. Look, I think that you have this vision for your life. You have this thing that you see, and it's being shaped now based on recent experiences, be it family, relationship stuff, be it career stuff, be it health stuff. Saw a lot of Capricorns dealing with health stuff the past few years. So if you're kind of one of those people that's been dealing with those things, your version of the future has greatly transformed. And I think you're looking at this future and these goals that you've now set for yourself, and you're looking at them and you're like, okay, I'm changing the way that I go about achievement. I'm not going to be the typical Capricorn climbing the mountain, just boom, 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 boom. Served you well in the past. However, your methodology right now is more like, okay, boom, one step, take a look. How's it going? Good? Okay. Everyone good? Everyone taken care of? Okay, great. Next one, boom. And it's still cardinal. You're still moving forward. It is a Libra card after all, cardinal. But it's not as like much of a bulldozer. I often see like Aries and Capricorn being like just so just totally plow through their goals, which is why they tend to achieve success so quickly if they set their mind to it, if that's what they want. They tend to do that so quickly because they just attack it. Libra is not an attacker. It will always succeed, but it's not an attacker. It's more meandering. It's more fluid. Cardinal air. It's like that breeze that comes in from like totally still air, and all of a sudden it's like this breath of fresh air, like, oh, thank God, it feels so good. And I think this new approach feels so good because the way you've done things, not that it got you in trouble, but it's just like it was so much work before and it was so much stress. And, I think that you're ready to just feel more light. And I think you're going to feel more attracting. You'll attract more good things into your life. The Lovers comes out if you do that. Okay, multiple facets. This is such a multifaceted card. One, let's not forget the element of choice. Let's start with that one. You may be feeling like you are needing to take some kind of path, some kind of route, you're needing to make some decision of some kind. You may have been feeling stunted in the decision department a little bit simply because you're like, I don't know, like the environment is so weird. Maybe you're in the stock market and the markets are being weird. What's the political environment? What's the, foreign relations? What's going on with commodities? What's going on with labor? And, you're probably taking onto account a lot of different factors. So you may have been like really just sitting and waiting to see how things are going to pan out. Some of you may be there for a while, especially if you're thinking of money. You're probably thinking of the election coming up next year here in the United States. You're probably thinking of the real estate market, and you're probably thinking like, okay, all the markets are just behaving in a way that's doesn't instill confidence. So I think you're asking, you're projecting, you're manifesting for yourself clarity so that you know which choice to take, you know which path to take. But I also know you're not about to budge until you feel really confident. So that's one way to look at the Lovers. The others is just internal peace, right? The Libra, the scales, the Two of Wands, the duality coming through. And this is when the scales are truly balanced. I think you're feeling pretty good. No matter what you're dealing with, you're feeling pretty good. There's a quality of intelligence and hyper creativity right now. Gemini season is so creative. It's like Gemini and Leo season is the time when we feel inspired to innovate. Sometimes it's just like, for me, just as an example, like I'm totally feng shuied my whole apartment. Like I just went through this whole like complete thing because I just wanted a new fresh energy in my life. Okay, so that was for me, and for you it's probably something else. And it could be really, really effective at this time. If you like take a chance and just sort of like say, okay, well, I'll try this. Yeah, sure. Why not? What's it going to harm? If it's not a major financial investment and it's just kind of dipping the toe in the water, I say do it. Dip your toe in the water. See how it feels. See if it's comfortable. See if it's interesting. See if you can like get passionate about it. Because if it is, it can blossom into like the most amazing new life path for you. Don't be afraid to dip your toe in the water this month. Don't be afraid. Test everything out. Like if you get a little like, that was a weird little synchronicity, or that's weird that so-and-so just said that when I was just thinking that yesterday. You get something like that, look into it, investigate it, because I think your angels are really trying to poke and prod you in the right direction here. Okay, I'm not getting the energy of anybody else. This is all just merely your state of mind. If you're not feeling calm, meditate, because so much information is going to be delivered to you via meditation. You're going to need peace of mind for eclipse season. If you're a Capricorn and you are not feeling peaceful during, like right now, and you're not kind of setting that precedent for the upcoming months, these eclipses might seriously kick your ass. Like it's bad enough with the Pluto-Saturn stuff right there. It's bad enough with Mars going through there now, that if you're not at peace, these are really aggressive transits that can just put you on the rampage, like the Virgo reading, just like rah, 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 getting rid of people, purging, and kind of being a little bit aggressive. But I think you're taking something weird just kind of popped in my mind. I feel like Virgo is taking on a very Capricorn vibe. And now that I'm saying, you're taking on a very Virgo vibe, almost like Virgo and Capricorn of doing a little archetype flip-flop kind of thing. And so I think this is your saving grace. This is your saving grace. This is what's going to make the transition so easy. Because we know you're changing. We know you've been changing. I like my air quotes this month. We know you've been doing that, but at what point do you at what point is it climax, and then what point does it resolve itself? Like, are you ready for it to start resolving itself? I think you are. You're ready for the resolution of the story. You are. You're ready for the resolution of the story. You guys, it's such a calm reading. I don't even know what to tell you. It's all about quiet time, chill time, family time. You're not trying to go out there and be all loud right now. If you're trying to find a romantic partnership, you're probably only going to be attracted to people who are like also very quiet and still and who really want the same goals as you. People who might there might be an affinity for like going to some cabin in the woods and just being a hermit for a couple weeks. There might be something like that going on of just like, I gotta get away. I think maybe this is Taurus, Venus, maybe, I don't know. Chiron in the 4th house, maybe Jupiter retrograde in the 12th. I don't know what it is, but something is just drawing you into like, I just want peace. I just want peace. I just want peace. And you're so unaffected, right? You're so like in this seat of power, so in command of like your circumstances. It's kind of scary even. Almost she's taking on like a magician or like a Merlin quality with her sword as her magic wand. Like, look out, she wields power. Big time, she wields power. And no matter what anyone else has got going on, you're just all in this lover's space. This feeling of being in union with yourself, being in union with your lover. Hopefully, if you're totally single and you're feeling lonely, if you resonate as a frequency of unity within yourself, you'll attract that. That's what she's doing. She's manifesting her future. So if you want, and this is right behind the 2 of Wands, right? So if you're wanting to manifest the lovers, by all means, manifest the lovers. You want the passion, you want the good sex, you want the connection, you want the feeling of togetherness and companionship and partnership, by all means. It's yours. If that's what you want, it's absolutely yours. I think you're at a place now of really believing that you deserve it too. I mean, you've always known that. I mean, it's Capricorn, but I know how hard you push yourself. We all do. Saturn rulership. It's natural. Push yourself, self-discipline, hard on yourself, always kind of like feeling like you can do better, but you're like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to do better. I'm doing pretty good already. Well, if this isn't the perfect lovers match, then I don't really know what is. Anytime we get a king and a queen of the same suit, we have to just love it because it's true compatibility. It's trining, right? The Libra and Aquarius archetypes coming through, they're trining air signs. And we get even the Gemini here too, completing the entire grand trine. So, I mean, this is a harmonious connection. It's one that is, it's a best friend kind of quality. It's something that you don't really have to work so hard at. You don't have to like try to get anything from anybody, and it just works. I love a King of Swords with a Queen of Swords because they're usually like this power couple, which is such a you thing. To be with someone who is strong and independent and self-reliant. They take care of themselves, but they're also like really dutiful. They love being in their hermit space with you. They love being a unit, right? They love being a unit. When the King of Swords is manifested upright, it's like one of the most loyal, dutiful type of partners you ever possibly could ask for. They can be a little bit hard sometimes because maybe they're not so expressive of emotion, and maybe that could be like one thing that you might be having a harsh time with, is just like, how does this person feel? Does my partner really want what I want? And they just kind of seem to be going with the flow, but not really offering a lot of feedback. That can be frustrating for Capricorn. I think you guys do need that reinforcement of like, are you good with this idea? Are you good with this thing? Like, can you let me know what you're thinking? I think they are. I do. I think that they are. And honestly, I feel like you're taking on, weirdly, I feel like the queen is actually more masculine in this particular scenario, meaning you're more of the leader in this instance, which can be annoying because I know, especially if you're a female watching this, it can be annoying because you want the guy to like grab you by the hand and lead you, just because that's kind of the way the energy works. The masculine goes out, the female receives, right? No matter whether you're talking about people or electrical outlets or whatever. But Well, I mean, I guess that's not really the best example, but you guys get the idea. So it might be a little bit annoying for you because you feel like you might be grasping, but ultimately it's not that bad. It's not like problematic by any stretch of the imagination. If you are having a hard time in a relationship and this person is actually giving you a cold shoulder, honestly, I wouldn't fight for it. I don't see you fighting. I don't see you trying. Because I think what you want is like, wow, I was saying this in Scorpio reading. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like repeat or recycle readings, but I call that reading the doorway is for cowards, because it's like, I think people at this stage of life development, they really are like, okay, do you want to be with me or not? Because I don't have time for halvesies. I don't have time for like kind of being with me, kind of not. Like if you're either all in or you're not, and just be honest with yourself about what you want and then be honest with me so I can plan accordingly. So you might be dealing with someone who's kind of like hanging out in the doorway a little bit, which might be frustrating, but ultimately, if this is a for real person, they'll follow you. They'll follow you. They're just not taking a very strong stance right now, simply because I think that they don't know what they feel. You know, we've been there. You might even be there a little bit too. You're trying to figure out a path, like, universe, let me know what to do. I think we're all kind of in this weird limbo. So, okay, another card of Gemini. You may be dealing with a Gemini. So I'll put the camera down in just a minute and you'll see how the Queen, the King, and the Knight are in a trine position too. So that's kind of interesting. This is a more aggressive energy though. You know, this is someone who's more, I think this is actually the tendency. This is why the Four of Swords is coming out, because the tendency is to go attack mode or to run away or to cut someone off or to be harsh with your words or whatever. Mars in the 7th shouldn't be harsh with words. As Mercury makes its way into Cancer, shouldn't be harsh with words. We are going to be having a Mercury retrograde in Cancer, so that might be a time, maybe this is a little bit of foreshadowing coming through. And the issues that may arise this month may also resurface during the Mercury retrograde. Fine, it's fine. But the more diplomatic you can be, like if you're feeling that heat or that aggression come up in you in any way, shape, or form, like I said, from such a peaceful reading, this Knight of Swords is actually pretty abrupt and unexpected. So it might be like something that happens, boom, and then all of a sudden it's like, Knight of Swords energy. And it's going to be important for you to check it, put it down, let it relax a little bit before you act upon it, because mistakes can be made with Knight of Swords energy. It's too haphazard. It's a little bit too like accusatory. And you may jump to conclusions that are wrong. So allow the Four of Swords to be a nice buffer, to do the meditation first, take some time away. Don't attach to any speculated anything, okay? It's not a good time for speculation, you know. 7th house and Gemini, kind of the combination of those two things, they want facts. 6th house is also about Virgo, right? Virgo, Gemini, you want facts. You want the truth. You want the reality of it. There may be some like outlier too, like some ex-boyfriend from like forever ago, or some like weird friend that you totally lost contact with that might resurface during the Mercury retrograde. That's a possibility. And that you might like have a synchronicity with them, and you might be like, where the heck, I haven't thought about them in like months. Why am I thinking about them now? Probably because they're going to be popping up later on, but inconsequential. It's not even really a thing. You guys, oh my God, I can't even handle how in control and how powerful you are. I mean, it's like this quiet, it's kind of like some Japanese emperor, you know, there's like a quality of humility coming through. There's not a lot of ego, but there's this huge spirit. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. It's like someone walks into a room and they don't even have to say anything and everyone can just feel it. It's not like Oprah who like walks in and is like, like, no, it's so quiet. You're coming through like that. So your energy is potent right now. Your influence is potent. You have a lot of power for you. In whatever it is you want to do. Like, don't ever feel depleted. Hopefully you don't feel depleted, because I don't think there's a need for it. If you are feeling depleted, like if you're feeling afraid of your own Hierophant for whatever reason, that's just all in your head. Like, that's not, like, why? Why are you afraid of your own Buddha? Why are you afraid of your own guru inside of you, right? There's no need. When you take on the Hierophant quality, the people that can't handle it, this is super high vibration. People that are lower vibration, they just get deflected. Like, pew, they just come and they ping you and then pew, they ricochet off because they just can't handle it. It's kind of like throwing a rock at a wall, just going to bounce off because it can't blend, it can't mesh like that. So you're deflecting and not even on purpose. You're like pinging people off. I don't think this King of Swords is being deflected though. I think this person really, really can handle it. You may have some kind of situation that arises where you're going to need to stand really firm on something, non-compromising. So maybe there is a little bit of conflict that arises with the King of Swords with that, because you're not willing to compromise your standards. Like, you may be going up the hill a little bit slow, but you're not coming back down the mountain. Right? You're not, you may be going out, but you're not coming back down. So there may be difficulty in getting this person to like climb up with you at the pace that you want them to climb. And they may be quite rigid. You might be quite rigid. And that seems to be like the only kind of conflict that I'm really seeing. That's all. Just the only kind of conflict that I'm seeing here. Three of Swords. Okay, so here's the thing. This is like with a perfect reading, pretty much. Perfect reading, pretty much. Here's the thing. So some quality of disappointment, and it is connected with the King of Swords here. So the disappointment of what? Their lack of being on board, their lack of leadership, their lack of like really wanting to be there, their lack of enthusiasm maybe, because it is a cool card. It is somewhat detached, the King of Swords. Really high quality match, good usually meshes pretty well. But if you don't see eye to eye on like something, it can be like, oh man, like we were so good, we were doing everything, and all of a sudden it was all like going forward, and now you're telling me you don't agree with me. Like, this is the one thing that I really cared about. I don't know, whatever it is. But the Three of Swords is a feeling of a little bit of a sadness. There are three energies coming through, right? Queen of Swords, King of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. The Lovers can also sometimes indicate some kind of a threesome. It's possible. Even in the Four... So this is kind of weird. Oh, wow, we're getting a lot of threes. The Hierophant, and then the two people down at the bottom. And then the Cup, but the three down below, and then the three swords above and the one down below. The three seems to be a separate kind of thing, and I think that these three swords are connected with these three swords here. That the Three of Swords is the thing that you're going to need to make peace with. The thing that's probably going to get you to go to 0 to 100 in spite of all this peace that you've been working so hard to achieve in your life. Something's going to trigger you, and you're going to have to take the high road. And I think on some level you really don't want to, because on some level I think that you don't think that you should. Like, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to be the one that takes the high road. But ultimately you do. That's just Capricorn. That's just Capricorn. I don't even know what to tell you. We'll talk more with the comprehensive for sure. We'll pull those cards in just a second. Let's finish this off though. Let's get the camera alignment. There we go. So you can see, right, the triangle. Really separate from each other. Let's see what else comes through for you. Eight of Wands, beautiful. After this period of time of like all this stillness, this feeling of stagnation, there will come a moment for sure when you most definitely know what to do. Okay, this is a card of interference, the Eight of Swords. Three of Swords, Eight of Swords. This is a card of interference. Stagnation is kind of what's preventing you from really knowing what the right path is, which is why you're placing that inquiry into the universe. Okay, universe, what am I really needing to do? I have this vision. My whole future is reshaping itself. I can see it differently now. I have new goals. How do I get there, right? Your internal unity, which is displayed by both of these cards, is what's going to get you through this 100%. Once this sort of problematic situation is resolved, it's all systems go. That's also a theme for the month. It's like once we take care of that thing that's bothering us, boom, it is just progress straight forward. Like there's no obstacles left. We'll clarify this one with the comprehensive as well. Let's go ahead and pull an astrology card. Aquarius, I know. Another card of Aquarius. There does seem to be a higher level knowing with the Lovers as well, and the Hierophant. Like this feeling of knowing is coming from the cosmos itself. It's coming from the instinctual, connected with the common conscious, or the collective consciousness, and there's just this all-seeingness. So what does this even mean? Look, I'm not getting a lot of detail here with these particular cards. Specifically, I'm like, okay, well, that's the reason why. The reason why we're not getting detail here is because it's not about the detail. Aquarius is so high level. So that when you actually have to get pulled down to base camp to deal with this Three of Swords, that's why I'm like, okay, well, this is the reason why you're going to go from 0 to 100 real quick, because you're annoyed that you have to come down here to deal with this, because you were on such a high level of understanding that whenever this happened, you're like, oh man, like this totally ruined the whole thing. It totally disrupted all the progress. It's totally, again, interfering with where this was supposed to go. Like I may have been moving up the mountain slowly, but I was still moving up the mountain. This person is putting kind of a pin in stuff that you're not wanting them to put a pin in, and it's proving to be problematic. They are your interference. That's what I feel. They are your interference. It's temporary. Don't worry, it is temporary. Them not wanting to be on board with you on one issue, all in all, I think the rest of the time you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good for yourself. Awakened spirit, a desire to change. Speaks to your own desire to change, which this is kind of forced change, actually, right? I mean, because with all the eclipses and all the stuff going on, it is somewhat forced, but it's time. Your soul needed it. Your soul knew what it was in for when it signed up for this particular incarnation, so it knew what it was in for. And now it's time. And I think on some level, this person's desire to change is not on par with yours. It's just happening disharmoniously. You're not synchronized perfectly with this particular thing. I think this person is a lot more stubborn than you are. They're not wanting to progress up the mountain because from their perspective, they think they're already on the top of the mountain. And you're like, no, 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 man, like, don't you see it over there? You know, like we're just kind of at the first leveling off point, but it continues down the line. Like we just got to walk straight for a little while and then we're going to be able to climb up further. And they're like, no, no, we're at the top. We're at the top. And you're like, no. So you're going to kind of need to convince or show this person, right, from a really high perspective, you're going to need to show them that you're not actually at the top, in spite of them thinking that they are. There's ego at play here, so be careful. You're going to need to convince your partner to be a little bit of a team player. Okay, well, there it is. I had a feeling the Hanged Man was going to come out. I didn't want to say it, though, because I didn't want to, like, project that out. But I do have a feeling that the Hanged Man is, like, the reason why you're feeling so not sure of really what decisions to make. It's short-lived. Oh, there we go, short-lived. So these are the cards that we're going to be covering in the comprehensive, by the way. And we'll talk for another 20 to 25 minutes approximately. The link will be down below in the description box, okay? So, beautiful. Two of Wands. Oh, another Two of Wands. I love that when that happens. You're headed into such a wonderful, mysterious place. There's no need for you to feel any level of stress whatsoever if you genuinely are not feeling sure. Okay. Alrighty. We got a whole bunch of cards coming out. I do generally take all the cards if they fall out like that. So I guess I'll go ahead and do that. We got a whole bunch though, so it's fine. Let's look at the Four of Swords. I think on some level you are knowing that growth is imminent. You're knowing that growth is imminent. It's inevitable. Yeah. Slight thorn in your paw. Honestly, not a big deal. Yeah, Three of Swords. I had a... Some of you may be discovering some kind of betrayal. Maybe the King of Swords did do something. I don't know. Maybe they did. Or maybe you're just being reminded of something. You seem to be getting interference from two angles. The Knight of Swords and the King of Swords. A little bit of a double whammy. Oh, Eight of Wands again, beautiful. Okay, the Aquarius energy, another Eight of Swords, by the way. Another, the Aquarius energy here, the knowing part, is probably the most important part. We cannot have Capricorn acting on instinct right now, okay? There needs to be an air of cool, calm, and collected in the face of adversity. Now, the first layer of cards that came out was pretty relaxed, really peaceful, super chill. But clearly, as soon as that Three of Swords hits, there's stuff that comes out. This might be pushing closer to Cancer season. Okay, not gonna lie, it might not be like in June, but it's. I think that this is foreshadowing for stuff. This Three of Swords probably might happen later on. Okay, so if you don't know what the heck that is, don't worry about it. Which is why it's all like good and happy and peaceful and all that. Lots to talk about here, though, coming out. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Thank you guys so much for everything. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Have an amazing Gemini season, and I'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.